Shalom, everybody. Thank you so much for coming out today for Vice President Pence. Thank you so much for your support today, everybody. And I want to say that a lot of people, the commentators, are talking about a year of President Trump's presidency. A lot of people in America are scoring it very negatively. That's their problem. We've got a completely different perspective here in the land of Israel, in the great state of Israel. Let's take a look at the last year for a second. First thing, the President of the United States declared to the whole world, 1 week after the United Nations made 6 declarations against Jewish rights in Jerusalem, President Trump went on national television and really international television and told the world, Jerusalem is Israeli, it's Israel's forever. Woo! See a little noise, people, all right. So that's the first thing. He just went against the whole world. The second thing he did was that he said the second thing that President Trump did is that he said to the world, enough of fake history. I'm pulling out of UNESCO. No more UNESCO for this world, for America, because UNESCO is a lying organization. An organization that says Jews have no history in Jerusalem, on the Temple Mount, in Hebron, where the fathers and mothers are buried.
Oh, and they are coming. Here we go.
President Trump said no to UNESCO. He pulled out, and by that, he led the world in a fight for truth, a victory for truth. Then, he now has begun to defund UNRWA, an organization dedicated to creating fake refugees, millions of fake refugees, so that the whole world can think that Israel's a bad country. President Trump and Vice President Pence have gone against that, have said, we're not going to fund these lies anymore. We're not funding fake refugees. We're going against that. The Republican platform has rejected the idea that Israel's an occupier in its own homeland, in its own country. Guess what? The biblical heartland of the Jewish people is Israel. That is what the administration in America is saying to the world. They're fighting a world of lies. Moreover, and maybe very much the most powerful thing that we've seen in the last few weeks, is that President Trump's behavior has uncovered the ugly face of supposed peace partners like Mahmoud Abbas, who say that Israel's not even Jewish, that Zionism is not Jewish. Yes, Mahmoud Abbas has been uncovered by President Trump as a Jew hater, as an Israel hater, and as, of course, an America hater. That is something that has just happened. That is the uncovering of the face of evil. And all these things, all these successes, the defunding of UNRWA, leaving of UNESCO, recognizing Jerusalem, moving the embassy, on the way to moving the embassy. What are all these things, ladies and gentlemen? They are a victory for truth. A victory for truth. Not a victory for Israel, not a victory for right-wing, not a victory for Republicans, a victory for truth. Because we've been living in a world of lies. And so many of us have accepted these lies. Finally, we can say, hey, why do we have to accept that? Stop with the lies. There is a truth. How did President Trump say it? I'm just acknowledging the obvious. Jerusalem is Jewish. Jerusalem is Israeli. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I wrote an article a few months ago, actually about a year ago, when President Trump got into office. It was called The Trump-Opportunity. All right? The Trump-Opportunity. And a lot of people doubted that there is a Trump-Opportunity, and I say to you today, it is obvious, because of this list of long successes, that this first year has proven that indeed we are in a Trump-Opportunity. And now we have to ask of people, great people, like Vice President Pence, like President Trump, let's keep going. Let's keep going for more successes. It's time to push back on the Iranian threat. If it's in Hamas or Hezbollah, the Iranian axis needs to be broken. We have to crack down on jihad, domestically and globally. President Trump, you have started defunding UNESCO and UNRWA. Now it's time to defund the UN. It is an anti-Semitic, anti-American organization. And guess what? It sits on American soil. It takes up American taxpayer money. It's time to say no. You are the president, the vice president who could do it. It's time to say to the UN, get out of Jerusalem. You want Israel out of Jerusalem? It's time for you to get out of Jerusalem. What are you doing in East Jerusalem? In the governor's palace over there. Maybe that should be, as Michael Oren has said, should be the U.S. Embassy in East Jerusalem. That's right, Eastern Jerusalem. It's time to declare that Judea and Samaria is part of sovereign Israel. We must declare sovereignty. This is our window to do it. This is the Trump opportunity. And in general, it's time to be able to fight back against political correctness and lies and to start saying the truth. Ladies and gentlemen, I read a book recently called The Bible and the Sword by Barbara Tuchman. And Barbara Tuchman talks about Lord Arthur Balfour. Do you know what she says about him? She says that in distinction to the other Christian Zionists, he had something very special about him. He was pro-Israel with no strings attached. He didn't want Israel to be there to push back on the French or to make sure that they have loyal British citizens. He was pro-Israel because he thought to himself, wow, these people have given so much to my religion and to the world. We have to honor them and to stop doing a disservice to them. It's time to honor the Jewish people by helping them create a strong Israel. I want to say that Vice President Pence, who is here today, is that kind of man. He is, of course, he is not just a man of seeing the value of Israel. He doesn't think it's a useful ally or an outpost of American democracy. That's not what it's about. Just like Lord Balfour, Vice President Trump is steeped in the Bible. That's right, the Bible's coming back to life. Yay. And that is something that is specifically Vice President Pence is doing even more than anybody else. He is making the Bible come back. That's the new roadmap. That's the issue. The Bible has become alive again because great leaders are saying, yes, the Bible matters. This document matters. The people that are written about it matters. And the places like Beit El, like Shiloh, like Shechem, like Jerusalem, like Beit Lechem, and of course like Hebron, where the mothers and fathers are. Am Yisrael Chai. They're asking me to sing because the Vice President is coming right now. Let's show Everybody look at the camera. Miri to the right here. Everybody look at Miri.
All right, Vice President Mike Pence is coming to the Israeli Knesset, right over there.
Come on, everybody, hands in the air, show the voice! Thank you, Vice President Pence. Keep up your leadership. Keep loving the Bible in Israel. Thank you so much for all of your strength. Thank you for your leadership, for standing up to a world of lies. Thank you, Vice President Pence. Thank you, President Trump. We honor you here in Israel. We honor you. We thank you. And we've come out today to put out these signs with Motorcade, with Yisrael Shali.